Hey everyone, Mrs. Norris here. So today I'm going to walk you through our activity, the Texas Revolution, Battle of the Alamo. And we've previously done an activity where we looked at the Texas Revolution as a whole. In this activity, we're going to focus just on the Battle of the Alamo, which is one of the most famous battles from the Revolution. What I want you to know or be able to answer are these questions. How justifiable is the growth of United States territory? And what is the most important consequence of westward expansion? Through this activity that you're doing today, I want you to understand that many settlers from Mexico traveled into the Southwest, bringing with them their cultural traditions, their attitudes towards slavery, their land grant system, and the economy they established. The arrival of westward moving settlers from the east into these Mexican territories led to conflict as the settlement of Americans in northern Mexico led to a desire to establish the Republic of Texas and eventually brought the United States into war with Mexico. So again, starting next week, if we're doing this in 2021, we're going to be working on our next DBQ, which will be to answer the question, was the United States justified in going to war with Mexico? And the Texas Revolution, particularly the Battle of the Alamo, brought the United States into that war. So that's why we're kind of looking at it a little bit more in depth before we look at the war itself. With this activity, you're going to summarize the causes and consequences of one of the most notorious battles to take place during the Texas Revolution, the Battle of the Alamo. So what you're going to do is you're going to make a copy of the file, Texas Revolution, the Battle of the Alamo. I'm going to show you that in a moment. Make sure you change copy of to your first and last name. And as you are watching each video segment, take notes on the timeline. So it's very similar to what you did with the Texas Revolution. You're not putting the timeline together at all. I've already put it together for you, but you'll be watching little video clips that are about 3 to 4 minutes long and then taking notes on them. After you watch each video, so when the video is done, create 3 or more summary hashtags for each segment. And then when you're done with the timeline as a whole, download your file as a PDF and submit through Canvas. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make a copy of this file. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Texas Revolution, the Battle of the Alamo. I do want to make a copy of this document. And where it says copy of, I'm going to change this to my first and last name. So I'm going to change this to my stepson's first and last name. You change it to yours. I'm going to go ahead and pause this so that you can do that step. All right, so before I get into completing this activity, I want to show you something that's going to help make completing this task a little bit easier. So you can see that on the screen, the text is pretty small and it's difficult to see both the video and the timeline. Currently, if I go to the zoom button, so if I click on the arrow for my drop-down menu, you'll see it's at 48%. That's what helps it to fit into the window. Your number might be different, but that doesn't change the fact that trying to complete it while it's at its original size is going to be difficult. Okay. The best thing to do is to start at 100%. And then if you have even more space, try going even farther up to 200%, because you really should just focus on one section at a time. There's no reason to see the entire thing all at once because you're not completing the entire thing at the same time. The best thing to do, again, is to have it at maybe 200%. And as long as you can see the video as well as where you're supposed to be typing, then you're going to be fine. Okay. Now, there are 2 things about the video. First of all, we do have a video selection directly on the slide here. So for example, this video goes with this red option on the timeline. Okay, the orange goes with this video. So each of the videos that's next to that section is the video that you're watching to type. You'll also see that there's a little frame here. That frame is to place a picture, which we'll talk about in a moment, a picture based on what you watched in the video. Okay, so now the other thing is not only is the video directly on the slide here, but you also have a link to it. Now, my suggestion to you is that you click on the link and you open that up. I'm going to have to press pause again real quick. And while you are completing this activity, you have these two open. So the YouTube page and then the tutorial itself, or I'm sorry, the activity itself. So if and I showed this to you in the last video, if I pull that tab out, so all I did was click and drag the tab out, okay? And then I resized it to fit about halfway. So if I do this, and then I do this, okay, I can have the video playing while I am working on the assignment. Now, the reason why I would want to do this instead of try to watch the video that's on the assignment itself is because if I try to pause the video on Google Slide, then it's going to take me back to the beginning, which is something I talked about in the last tutorial. So again, the best thing to do is to use the link to open the video in a separate section and then put your two windows together. And then you can just type your facts straight on to your Google Slide while you are watching the video. Okay, I would also suggest too that you have closed captioning on, because then you can read the text, and when big ideas come up, you can pause and copy them onto your Google Slide. So you can see that these are short videos. For example, this one's only 1 minute and 45 seconds. All of them are around that time, so it's not going to take you very long to watch each video. But as you are watching the video, you are going to take notes, 3 to 5 facts about the events from that day, and then 3 summary hashtags. Okay, 3 summary hashtags. So make sure that you complete that step. And then finally, and I do understand that we didn't go over it in the beginning, but you'll find a picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in Battle of the Alamo. I can find a picture here on Wikipedia. They usually have the best pictures. And if I right click and copy the image, I can paste it. And you can see I pasted it in the middle of my whole timeline itself. So I want to go down and I'm going to resize it and then move it up. And I want to resize it so it about fits in that frame there. And I can kind of move it so it's as best in the middle as I can. And then if I want to trim it up, I can do that. Okay, so again, you're going to watch the video. I suggest you watch the YouTube video and then you can pause it with closed captioning on and type in your facts here. When you're done, 3 hashtags to summarize what you've learned, and then find a picture that is related. When you're done with the activity, you are going to download it. So you're going to go to File, Download, PDF, and you're going to download it as a PDF and submit it through Canvas for grading. If you're all done with this and you've finished everything else in the unit, you can use your time to work on your ABC book if you have not done that already, and it is the year 2021. So your ABC book, or also in the year 2021, we have the interview in non-native. So if you haven't completed that, that is also something you can be working on when you're done with this assignment.